You know what I love about cooking with a slow cooker is how easy everything is. First, we're going to start with our slow cooker. We've already hit it with some non-stick spray. Going to put an entire bag of kale in there as well as some stock, okay? Now, you can use beef or chicken with this one. Just depends on what you prefer. I love the beef. It turns out just a little bit more flavorful in my opinion, but it's completely and totally up to you. Put all 32 ounces right there on top of it because the last thing you want in here is for it to go dry, okay? Speaking of, we might as well just go ahead and add 2 of them to it while we're pouring. The last thing I want to do is to let this thing simmer all day and it run out of juice. You know what I mean? Exactly. So now you've added 64 ounces of stock to it. What we're going to do next is add just a little bit of water. Again, I'm just scared to death. If y'all have ever left anything in the slow cooker long enough that it burnt, you know what I'm talking about. Next up, we're going to use 3 onions, 2 yellows and a purple. We're going to chop those up real nice and fine and then just add those right there in on top, okay? Super, super simple. Then my favorite is we're going to add just a little bit of sausage. Now, what you're going to do is just go ahead and crumble that up as it comes out of the tube. You can use whatever you like. I love the hot just because it gives it such a full flavor, especially whenever I've added all these other things to it. It's going to kind of cut that heat a bit. But if you prefer a medium or a mild, I say go ahead with that too. One thing I don't want to do is waste any of it. So what we're going to do is just make sure that we use our hands and fingers to go ahead and squeeze every little last morsel of sausage out of that plastic sleeve, okay? So make sure you get it at the end and squeeze it all the way out. Perfect. Now you got to make sure that that one lump does not stay together, okay? You got to reach in there and either crumble it with your fingers or take a wooden spoon or spatula to make sure that you bust that up, because the last thing we want to do is just have a big old hunk of meat down on the bottom. We want to make sure we spread it all the way throughout our dish, okay? Super easy. We've gone ahead and washed our hands to make sure we don't have to worry about it. If you feel better wearing gloves, by all means, go right ahead. It's whatever your kitchen and your family prefers, so y'all go ahead and use your best judgment on that. So once that's all good and crumbled, what we're going to do is go ahead and get a spoon and make sure that we put everything underneath the level of the liquid, okay? Make sure that the greens don't poke out. Make sure that the onions don't poke out. Make sure the sausage is submerged, okay? Give it a good and thorough swishing around in there to make sure that all of our ingredients, number one, get covered very well with our moisture, and number two, get a real good mix going on. I hate having a whole lot of chunks in one spot, not in another. Next up is minced garlic. Now, if y'all have been around for a second, you know I love using this stuff. Provides a whole lot of flavor as well as just a little bit of saltiness. Add a couple of tablespoons of that in here. Same thing. Going to mix it up a little bit. Make sure that it's good blended. We're going to put that on high for 3 hours. Whenever we get done, we've got this gorgeous sausage kale soup that is absolutely out of this world. I love slow cooking because you can set it and forget it. Just go ahead and put it to the side. As long as it's got enough moisture in it, it is never going to burn. All it's going to do is continue to blend all those flavors together in a wonderful way. And I wish you'd look at that. How gorgeous. Golly bum, yes. You're going to ladle a bit of that out into a bowl and get ready to enjoy some absolutely delicious soup. Next up, we're going to add just a little bit of cheese. I've chosen feta. A little Parmesan will do you great too. Pour some crumbles of that right there on top. Super, super simple. It's not going to melt very easily, but it will give a creaminess to it that it didn't have before, and it is so good. If cheese isn't your thing, you can go ahead and add maybe a dollop of sour cream or maybe some Greek yogurt just to make sure you got something creamy for the top. Woo! Yes, please.